like a million different pieces of advice all over the place.
It's overwhelming.
It's super overwhelming.
For sure.
So we're going to try to like cut through the noise a little bit.
Love it.
And the way we're going to do that is we're going to look at two kind of opposing viewpoints in a way.
Interesting.
So the two sources we have today are Gary Vaynerchuk.
Gary V.
Gary V, that's right.
Yep.
And Adam Erhart.
Interesting combo.
Yes, you've got, Gary V, he's super high energy.
Yeah, super high energy.
All about like dominating social media, just
tons of content.
Insane output.
Yeah.
Just putting stuff out there all the time.
Right.
And then you've got Adam Erhart, who's a little bit more
measured, a little more strategic.
Strategic about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Starting small, scaling gradually.
No.
So it's kind of this question of like,
is it
about just like,
is it a quantity game or
speed and volume, or is there like a smarter way to approach this whole thing?
Yeah.
So let's jump in with Gary V.
Okay, let's do it.
I think one of the things that's really interesting about Gary V is just
his energy.
Yeah, his energy is like
it contagious.
It's contagious, right?
Can't help but
it makes you want to go create content.
Fired up, yeah.
So his whole thing is just like dominate, right?
It's
just like an insane amount of output, and he's really focused on
platforms, though.
Yeah, so he's really focused on 3 platforms in particular.
Okay.
Facebook, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok.
So all like the short form video stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Short form video is king.
Makes sense.
According to Gary V. One thing I thought was interesting was he talks about like his early career and how for a long time he was just seen as like the wine guy. And people didn't take him seriously when it came to business advice and stuff like that. And it makes you think like...
That's interesting.
Even somebody who's as established as Gary V now.
Right.
You know, he had to kind of like...
break out of that box.
Break out of that box and like really prove himself.
Totally.
To be seen as more than just like a...
One thing,
yeah.
Like a niche.
And I think part of that is maybe why he's...
so focused on...
so obsessed with like...
content creation
and like the volume of it.
Right. It's like if you put enough out there.
Yeah, you just keep putting stuff out there eventually. Like
someone's got to stick.
Something will stick.
Yeah.
Right. And then you kind of double down on that.
Interesting approach.
And it is interesting. Like he's not just throwing random stuff out there.
But he has a strategy.
Yeah, he's very strategic about the type of content it's all.
Short form video.
Short form video. It's Facebook, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok.
Makes sense.
So there is like a method to the madness.
Right.
Now, Adam Erhart, on the other hand.
Total opposite.
Total opposite.
Right.
Yeah, if Gary V is like... Speedboat.
Yeah.
Adam Erhart's like a...
cargo ship. Yeah.
Slow and steady.
Slow and steady.
Yeah.
Much more methodical. And he's all about...
building a foundation.
building a solid foundation and then scaling your efforts.
Gradually.
Yeah. One thing he said that really resonated with me was this idea of advertising being an accelerator, not an initiator.
I like that.
Right. And I feel like
that's a good one.
Really made me think because
it's so true.
It's so true. You see all these people saying like,
oh, yeah, just run ads.
Just run ads and
you'll figure it out.
You'll find your audience.
Right.
And it's like,
it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't really work like that.
Not at all.
Because if you
have a bad...
if your core offer isn't good... if your product isn't good...
no amount of advertising is going
to
fix that.
Yeah. Waste money.
Waste a ton of money.
Right.
So I thought that was a really...
powerful
point that he made.
Yeah. It's like you need to have something.
Yeah.
That works first.
Yeah. You need to know that people actually...
want
what you're offering.
Yes.
Before you start...
throwing money at ads.
Yeah.
For sure.
So how do you know if your offer is actually resonating?
Good question.
Like, how do you know
so there are
if you're on the right track?
A few things you can look at. You know, are people engaging with your content?
Okay.
You know, are they clicking through to your website from your ads?
Yeah. Are they actually like...
taking that next step?
Yeah, taking that next step.
Yeah, and most importantly, are they buying your product or service?
So like...
if the answer to those questions is no...
then you need to go back.
You need to go back and like...
rethink things?
Yeah.
Rethink things?
Yeah.
Maybe your offer's not good.
Maybe it's not resonating.
I mean, not targeting the right people.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that's a really important takeaway, especially for anyone who's like...
feeling the pressure.
Feeling the pressure to like
Spend a lot of money on ads.
Yeah, spend a lot of money on ads before they've actually, like...
Validated their offer.
Validated their offer, and they know that...
It's working.
It's working, yeah.
Right.
So we've got these two, like, seemingly opposite approaches.
Right.
You know, Gary Vee is like...
Go, go, go.
Just put out as much content as possible. Adam Erhart is like... Slow and steady.
And steady.
Make sure your offer is good.
Make sure you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, like, how do we reconcile those two things?
Well, I think at the core of both is this idea of understanding your audience.
Okay.
So Gary Vee's approach is kind of like, put out a bunch of content and see what resonates.
With different segments of your audience, and then kind of like double down on that.
Okay.
Whereas Erhart's approach is like, no, really understand your target market before you even create the offer. Like,
right. So it's like, it's almost like they're
two sides of the same coin.
Two sides of the same coin. Yeah.
It's like you need to know your audience.
Exactly.
Whether you're testing or whether you're
like going all in, you need to
know who you're talking to.
Know who you're talking to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to kind of see
those two approaches
and how they kind of like
come together.
Yeah. They both lead to the same place.
Yeah.
In very different ways.
Totally different ways, yeah.
So I guess my question to you listening to this is like, where do you feel like you are?
In your business.
In your business right now.
Yeah.
Are you in that experimentation phase?
Are you Gary Vee or...
Are you more like Gary Vee? Are you just like...
Adam Erhart.
Throwing stuff at the wall?
Yeah.
Seeing what sticks?
Are you trying to figure it out still?
Or do you have like a really solid offer?
Are you ready to scale?
And you're ready to like scale it.
Yep.
So I think that's something to think about.
For sure.
As you kind of like
dive deeper into
these sources.
Absolutely.
And I think, you know, no matter where you are in your business, there's a lot of valuable information in both of these approaches.
Absolutely.
So I think you'll find something
that you can use.
Yeah, that you can use to kind of like
level up
your social media game.
For sure.
So think about that.
That's it.
That's it for today.
All right.
We'll see you next time.
See.